Buongiorno. Today we are going to be talking about how to talk about age in Italian, obviously a country with a lot of old people and young people as well, but we're going to be going over some options that you have. You, I think, have a couple more flexible options than you might currently imagine, so let's dive in and talk about these. Okay, now why does this actually matter? You can go beyond simple phrases like ho 22 anni, okay? Now there's nothing incorrect about this, it's completely factual Italian, but we do have more elegant ways to talk about age, and it'll help you to sound more natural and sophisticated if you're not just repeating the same textbook phrase over and over again. Obviously, it's also essential for everyday conversations to be talking about different age groups and avoiding literal translations like she has 20 years. If you are kind of in the beginning stage of Italian and maybe translating these, you might get a bit confused. Okay, so where should we start? Well, let's start from the beginning. So the basics would be quanti anni hai? How old are you? Yeah, nice and simple. To which you could reply something like ho 20 anni or lui ha 30 anni. Yeah, you can actually join up a 20 anni into vent'anni. I've just separated them here to make it a bit easier to understand. Okay, so these are the kind of basics that we would expect in our Italian classes, but we do actually have a few more options. So one of these will be the N pattern. Okay, yeah, essentially you just want to give the age and then add the N suffix. So for example, a ventenne would be a 20-year-old person, a trentenne, 30-year-old, quarantenne, cinquantenne, and you get the picture. By the way, if you want a little bit more practice on Italian, particularly with the verbs, I've made a practice tool which you can access in the description. Basically, I got frustrated that there wasn't an easy way to assign students a very specific type of homework. I wish on Duolingo you could just search future verbs and kind of just practice those and then be able to assign them to students as homework. So I did something about it. So if you want to practice that, I've got a link in the description. And similarly, if you just want a bit more Italian, tips and tricks, I do send out a weekly newsletter with some videos as well that will help. So if you'd like to sign up to that, it's in the description. Okay, so looking at this N stuff in context. So if I said something like è un ventenne molto maturo. Yeah, he's a very mature 20-year-old. Now I could, go around the houses and say the whole lui è un ragazzo che ha 20 anni ed è molto maturo. I could say like he is a 20-year-old guy who happens to be very mature, blah 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 blah. But just saying he's a very mature 20-year-old is a bit of an easier way to say it. I could also say something like cerco una coinquilina, good word there, trentenne. I'm looking for a 30-year-old roommate. Or mio padre è un cinquantenne in forma. Okay, in forma means he's fit and healthy. Quick note on ne. Okay, this isn't a video about ne, but you can use this to refer back to age. So for example, if you were asked quanti anni hai, you could reply ne ho 20. I have 20 of them. Okay, so in English it's like, how many apples do you want? We don't say I want 20 apples, we say I would like 20, or I would like 20 of, well, okay, we don't really say 20 of them either, but we might say, can you get me some of them? Or even just, can you get me some? But if you don't want to repeat quanti anni hai o 20 anni, you could just say ne ho 20. If you're interested, just search on YouTube Italian ne, you'll get a much more in-depth explanation as well. What about when we're actually turning an age? Okay, so we make this with fare and then the age. So for example, lui ne fa 18 questo settembre. Again, ne, you would only, using this ne thing, only really makes sense if you have the context already established. It wouldn't really make sense for me to just say this sentence as it is on its own. This would only make sense in answer to the question quanti anni ha Luca? Lui ne fa 18. Quanti anni fa Luca? Quest'anno lui ne fa 18. So just a small point, but you get the picture. The main point here is about fare. Quando fai gli anni? Okay, when is your birthday? So this is kind of the most common usage you would get. Faccio 30 anni il mese prossimo. I will turn 30. Okay, it might seem strange in Italian to say I will make 30 years next month. Italian is a weird language, okay? Faccio 30 anni. Okay, what about things like approximate ages? Okay, so when you don't know the exact age, you could say sulla ventina, okay, sulla trentina, sulla quarantina. Okay, you get the picture. I don't know exactly why we say sulla. Again, this is one of those weird things. It's kind of like on the 20s. Sulla means on the, but just don't think about it. Just think about how to actually use this. So if we wanted to give some examples, here we go. Ho visto un uomo sulla quarantina. Cerco una babysitter sulla ventina. E una donna, pardon me, sulla cinquantina. Okay? So, there we go. That's quite a fast video, but if you need to go back and rewatch it, take notes, totally fine. I'm going to leave you some practice, okay? How would you translate some of these following phrases, okay? If you leave some comments down below the video, I will have a look at them. This is a small channel. I'll have time to actually reply to comments individually. So have a go and, let me know how you might pronounce and say some of these. If you've enjoyed this, I'm going to link a video on screen now that I think makes sense to watch after this one. So happy practicing.